Number 7, a ship leaves port and travels on a constant course and a constant speed for 15 days to reach its destination. If the ship's port is represented by the vector 0, 0, and its destination is represented by the vector -8, -825, -830, -30. Goodness, I can't read. -825, -30. Which vector represents the ship's position at the end of the third day? All right, question for you. What type of problem is this? It's a vector problem. How I would recommend you do vectors. Whoops. How I'd recommend you do vectors is by graphing or using a tic-tac-toe chart. So here's what we know. The start of this graph, let me actually use straight lines. The graph, it starts at port, and the port is where? 0, 0. So we start here. But then the ship moves to what point? Okay, so it goes way over here, -825 and -30. So they just gave us an x and y. If you didn't realize that, they just told us our x value is -825 and our y value is -30. That's what they told us. Now, what do they want to know? Position on the third day. So it's kind of like this. The ship starts here, and over a period of 15 days, it moves to that point. We need to figure out where it is on day 3. So how do you think we could figure that out? If this is day 0 and this is day 15, how do you think we could figure out where it is on day 3? Divide by 5. Why divide by 5? Okay, so usually from here with vectors, we do a tic-tac-toe chart. And I'm just going to write it up as tic-tac-toe just to have it placed together. But the math, I think, will be pretty simple once you see it. We only have one vector to add in here. We don't have to use the 0, 0. So I'm just going to do this one line here. So I have x, y, h, and theta. We do this for vectors. Our vector, I'm going to call it just vector v. Instead of a 1, I'm just going to say vector v. This is vector v here. Vector v, what I know it looks like a diagonal h, but we don't know the diagonal value. What do we know? We know its x is -825, and we know its y is -30. Now, it travels for how many days? 15. So Matthew said divide by 5, and we're going to see why that would be the case. But if I divide by 15, what that would do is tell me how much it travels per day. Would y'all agree with that? If this is 15 days. If I divide by 15, I figure out how much it goes per 1 day. Now, do I actually want to know what happens after 1 day? Now, how many days do I want to know about? 3rd day. After the 3rd day. So it's actually 3/15. Now, this could reduce. 3 goes into 15 how many times? 5. So you actually could just divide by 5. But let's just say you didn't know that. What you can do is just multiply by 3/15. So you could just say 3 over 15 times the x, -825, and 3 over 15 times the y, -30. Which one's the answer then? B. B is the correct answer. B is the correct answer, which on this one, I didn't give you the percentages. Only 44% of students got this one right. Only 44% of students. Now, there's one more way to do this. It's even easier. What type of problem was this? Vectors. How I usually do vectors is by doing control left parentheses. I'll do control left parentheses, 825, comma, -30. So I type that in. That's its vector. Now, we said we want to find out what happens on the 3rd day out of 15. And so if you go to the front and you just do a fraction, 3 over 15, that means the 3rd day out of 15. Now, if I press enter right now, it'll tell me an error, dimension error. It's Inspire has an error built in that they didn't, when they programmed it, they forgot to tell it what to do if you put a number in front of a bracket. They just forgot. And they just don't put, I guess when they were testing it, people just don't use brackets that often. What is that 3/15 supposed to be doing to this? Multiplying. So if you just tell the calculator what to do, then it'll do it. So if you just go back and say, oh, you need to multiply. Now the calculator will multiply it out and it gives you the answer. Notice how quick and easy that was. It's even easier. So vectors, I use the calculator control left parenthesis. If you want to do your math, you just distribute through. It's really easy itself. But that's how you would get that. All right, that was number 7. Only 4